I love this. It's so sad. OnlyFans, drugs, and 9/11 taunts. Dublin to New York portal taken offline over inappropriate behavior. The innovative sculptures linked the two cities together, but were soon hijacked by people intent on antisocial antics. So I don't know how many of you guys saw this story, but we have this portal sculpture they built. It's got a camera on it and a screen. And it's basically just an active live stream because the people who put it together apparently never heard of the He Will Not Divide Us campaign by Shia LaBeouf.
The best scavenger hunt of all time.
That's right. And so I remember, so they basically built these two screens that broadcast to New York and Dublin. And oh, look how cute it is. At first it was, hello from New York. We love you, Dublin. And I don't know if they actually have the photos in here, but some there you go. Some hooker walks up and just flashes the thing. This was really interesting. This is what was really interesting. So they shut it down because they're people were doing drugs in front of it and just crazy stuff. In New York, women are legally allowed to take their tops off and walk around, their boobs flopping around. There was a ruling that it is unconstitutional. It's a violation of civil human rights law to have different standards for men and women. So if men can be shirtless, women can be shirtless. I kind of felt like the solution is men should wear shirts, but whatever.
Can't we just make men not allowed to be shirtless in New York? I would prefer that actually.
You can go that way too. It's guys, start wearing shirts.
Yeah.
But anyway, the thing is, what she's doing is not illegal. She is in New York, where it is legal to be topless. I don't know the law in Dublin, but I was just thinking there are a lot of things in New York that are legal that are not legal in Dublin, and vice versa. And so that means what she's doing. I don't know. Is there a crime being committed? Because are there kids who can see this? Maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Is it an indecent exposure violation?
Not in New York. If she goes to Dublin, does she
but
get
if I'm
arrested?
Exposing myself to someone in Dublin, how does that work?
In New York City,
you couldn't obviously hold anybody accountable for it from Ireland. But
women are allowed to be topless. So that means there are women who walk around New York topless, and kids, anybody can see them. It's not illegal. But in Dublin, if she flies there, would she go to jail? If the guy doing drugs, what is, I don't know. I suppose the story is just funny because what did you expect to happen?
Yeah, this was never going to go anywhere good.
It shows you someone in society is optimistic, right? They were we can put this out there. It'll just be a nice thing where people wave at each other. That's almost adorable, I hope there are more people like that. I think the girl flashing the camera is obviously completely self-absorbed. I think the fact that you were what everyone needs to see right now? Me? That's not a great representation of American culture. I'm sad that this is our export to Ireland. But I don't know of any time when someone was well, we're going to leave a live webcam streaming just on and on and on. No one has ever been great idea. Let's do it. No liability.
There was the other one
good.
that broke Shia LaBeouf in.
Kept moving it, and people would do all kinds of stuff. But then
broke that man right in half.
And it was a game after that, which is hilarious.
It was awesome because I went there several times. I'm in New York and I heard about it, and I'm I'm gonna go check this out. And it was a party. Shia LaBeouf set up a live stream where it was called He Will Not Divide Us, and there was an active live stream.
It was anti-Trump,
And then people started going and holding up signs and doing weird, crazy things. And so it
4chan things.
Yeah, it got so bad that Shia LaBeouf took the live stream to the middle of nowhere with the camera pointing up at a flag that said He Will Not Divide Us. I think the first thing he did was he put on a roof. No, was it second? I don't know. All I know is there were two instances.
Moved it a couple times,
He moved it more than once.
First, you could only see in the live stream a blue sky and the flag saying He Will Not Divide Us. They found it. Mm-hmm. They heard frogs croaking at night, so they knew it was near still water because frogs don't like running water. And then they looked at the contrails from planes and then looked at they said a place where frogs are, still water, and two planes are intersecting. They found that thing so fast. It was amazing. I'm deeply impressed. That's scary.
Again, something that brought us all together. This hilarious game where we have to find Shia LaBeouf's dumb thing.
Do you follow that GeoGuessr guy on YouTube?
Yes.
Who's that?
Yeah, he can look at one picture anywhere in the world and goes through this whole process of analyzing the picture and ends up finding the spot.
Is he the guy who did the album cover of the guy in the alley in Louisville? I watched that.
It's fascinating.
He'll do people will be like, oh, my parents took this picture somewhere. I don't know where it is. And he'll be like, bam, here you go.
Yeah.
Incredible.
The funny thing was I watched this video and he goes, I forgot the guy's name of the album cover, but he's like, it's He's like, the singer's from Louisville, so it's probably in Louisville. So, and I was like, oh, well, that was dumb. He figured it out because the guy was from there. And then he finds the address. He finds the Google Maps, and he zooms in and he finds where it is on Google Earth. And I'm just like, oh, wow, that was amazing.
He's legit.
There's another guy who just had a viral seven-part arc trying to find this skateboarder. I wonder if I can actually look him up on Instagram because I've been watching these videos. They're really, really amazing. Let me pull this one up. He did this collaboration with Tony Hawk. Let me see what the guy's name is if it pops up. Here we go. We got it. So this is Danocracy on Instagram. And what he does is he tracks down people found in old vintage photographs. And it's wild to watch this stuff.
Cool.
So he did 7 episodes trying to find this mystery skateboarder from an old Life magazine photo shoot in Central Park. Couldn't find him. He found everyone else, though. It's really wild. Like, there's women, there's kids. He found these people. It's really amazing.
What if the skateboarder went missing and is a missing person, and that's how we solve a true crime?
Sure.
I like it.
So this is back in 1965, and it's a guy wearing a suit riding like one of the first prototype skateboards. And they're trying to figure out who this guy is because none of it makes sense. Like, he's so comfortable on a board, hands are in his pocket, skateboards were a new thing. How's he riding so well? And he's wearing a suit. Couldn't find him. But point is, someone will send him a photo and be like, I found this photo at a thrift store. And then he was like, I'm going to find out who this person is. And so then he checks the time, the date, the location. He looks at other people who are there, the clothing they're wearing, so he can figure out like the time and all that stuff. It's really cool stuff. Yeah. I need to watch more of his videos because they're fun.
Look, the internet can be a very cool thing,
Right?
but other times it's
Other times it leads to this.
Yeah.
Did you know that running joke of people coming up to Tony Hawk and be like, has anybody ever told you you look like Tony Hawk?
Yeah, because he always tweets
it. Happens all the time. It's
And
hilarious.
it's because he's famous, but he's not famous. Like,
Yeah.
he's a weird kind of famous.
Yeah.
So he always has these tweets where I was on a plane and someone said, you look like that skateboarder guy, Tony Hawk or whatever. And he's like, oh, really?
I like the one with, I think it was a TSA agent, like checking his ticket. And she was like, Tony Hawk, like the skateboarder?
Oh, Anthony Hawk.
And he was like, yeah. And she was like, I wonder what he's up to. And he was like, this is, what?
This is me. But it's funny because he's basically like, it's a weird thing to be famous for. So people heard the name, but they don't know what he looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as for this portal, you know the first thing I think of when I see stuff like this, I think, now I get Bill Gates.
I don't think it goes that far for me, but it
It
People- it
I
shows
didn't,
that-
I didn't say I agree with him.
It shows that people are inherently optimistic.
yeah.
Because whenever you propose these kind of things, the first thing I think of is like all of the ways that you can just like make it a bad idea.
But someone was like, no, it'll be nice. You can see the signs they have printed, like, we love Dublin.
I saw some dude's holding up his phone. He's got porn playing on it. It's like,
Yeah.
Did you
People are
guys
the
see
worst.
the climate scientist who said the only way to stop the emissions is through a pandemic that culls most of humans or something like that?
Yeah.
And
Don't
then he
let that man anywhere near power.
Thanos.
And then but I mean, these are people saying to cull 5 billion to save 500 million. At least Thanos was like 50-50. Yeah. Like, geez, utilitarianism gone. That's the crazy thing about it. It's like we must kill 99% of people to save 1%, and that's how far it goes.
I think that idea is one of the most dangerous ideas going around now.
So
that people are bad.
And I'll tell you why it's fake. I can debunk the whole narrative right now with one simple logical point. The first question is, why avert climate crisis? Any answers?
Why avert the crisis?
Yeah, why is the climate crisis a bad thing?
Well, this is the irony in it, because it affects our population and it affects the world and our ability to thrive here, and it
Because
affects
people
the
will die?
ecosystem. People are going to die. It's going to make it more expensive
Okay.
with food shortages, which is inherently a love and care for humanity and wanting to protect our home.
This is the illogic
Yep.
of the culling humans statement that he made. If the fear of climate change is that it will kill humans, killing humans just makes it a moot point.
Exactly.
So there's no reason to do it. If your concern is there are too many humans and the earth needs to heal, you need only wait, right? Wait for climate change to cull the humans like you've prescribed,
Unless you
and then earth
want
heals.
say on which humans are getting taken
Exactly.
out.
The issue is never the issue. The issue is always the revolution. It is
Yep.
like, and they call it like it's green on the outside, red on the inside, or whatever. Like the green environmental environmentalism is the front, but inside it's actually just the front for communism. That some type of socialism, eco-socialism, it's always an excuse to just acquire power and to be able to tell people how they have to live their lives and what they should do and et cetera, et cetera.
And they always choose the most sad, depressing spokespeople. Like these people are always, they're not healthy. They look morbid. They're not enjoying life. Like you see them channeling their inner just frustration at the world. It's not about any grander vision of what the world should be. They're just angry and depressed and frustrated at the world. They're lashing out against their conservative dad. Like most of this is just that. But on top of that, the United States, it was just revealed last week that we have the lowest population growth in over 100 years. It's like, that's a major problem. So if you have this whole culture wailing this message of the growth of families is a problem because it's going to strip your economic opportunities, it's bad for the climate, et cetera, like that's the death of a nation. You just signed the death wish.
So we'll just do it. We'll get into this a little bit just for a couple minutes. Social Security funds are set to fall short by 2033. NPR reporting this 2 days ago. I got bad news for y'all. In 9 years, there will not be enough money in Social Security to pay the people who rely on it. At some point, it won't matter how much you tax people. Older people are going to get cut off from benefits. They're going to have no way to fund shelters, nursing homes, and the elderly. The issue really comes down to this. Right now, we could raise taxes. It's like, okay, we need more money for Social Security. We got to raise taxes on everybody. And that strains the younger generation. Eventually, there's no one to tax.
Yep.
The birth rate, fertility rate is so low, eventually to the point where there's 3 elderly for every 1 young person. And that 1 young person cannot sustain 3 elderly people.
Nope.
And that's when it all breaks down. Older people are going to keep voting for
That's
their
just
interests.
one of the ways it can break down.
It is one of the ways. Here's what I think. I think Social Security is insane in the first place.
Of course.
Like the problem, this welfare system opens the door to families not being there for their elderly. The elderly should be cared for by their families. It should be a personal thing. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.